Swords and Souls, Realm of the Bear, Part 1, Volume 2, by S R Sorel. Available from Google Books, Lulu.com, Amazon, Waterstones, and online from any book internet sites. This is an excerpt from Chapter 8, Time of Passage. Let the sorcery begin.
Thou which thou art, but enough of thy feeble tricks, for I have a few of my own.
Wise Merlin released a ray of red light from Morgan's own wand, and, as he pointed it towards one of the grotesque creatures, he bathed it gently in light. The hideous thing gazed around its hideous body as the red aura continued to glow, but nothing happened as it stood there, bewildered. Kill the sorcerer! Take him down! Tear his flesh to pieces! I command thee! Go! Morgan Le Fay pointed her finger at Merlin, and the creatures screamed, hissed, and snarled as they started towards him, running on their knuckles and feet like great apes. The entities were almost upon him, and Merlin stepped back a few paces as they came at him fast. Then, in his strongest voice, he hollered,
Death unto the all, so be it, it is done.
Suddenly, the creature, who was still bathed in red light from Merlin's wand, screamed and withered in agony. It fell to the ground and tore at its own flesh with its claws, ripping great clumps from its foul body. Green saliva flowed from its mouth, and its eyes became bloodshot and exploded in their sockets as blood spewed and sprayed over its grotesque face. Even before any of the entities had come close to Merlin, each one suddenly shared the same fate and died instantly in terrifying agony, for their entire underworld souls were connected. Wise Merlin forced a thin smile as Morgan cursed and screamed at him, but her one good eye now turned jet black, and it stood out starkly upon her pale white face, and Merlin knew who she charged for battle.
I will also have that which belongs to my people, stolen long ago by Gwyn, Merlin yelled, as he pointed his rowan staff at Morgan, and blue light came forth, but she quickly met it halfway with a red aura of her own. To her horror, as she pointed, the ring of Avalon slipped from her slender finger. It hovered in the air, trapped by the sorcery, and both of them knew they must retrieve it at once.
I shall kill thee, Merlin! Thou wilt never have my ring! It belongs to me!
Merlin smiled more as the ring of Avalon began to come towards him. Her power could not hold it, and she screamed in frustration, for Merlin's will was stronger.
Give me more force of will, my Lord Pwyll, she hissed as the ring was nearly in Merlin's grip as it floated towards him. Give me the power now! I command it of thee, underworld king!
Suddenly, the ring lost its momentum, and Merlin felt a great weight against his frail body. It knocked him off his feet, and he fell upon some crystals, breaking them instantly with the force of the fall. Merlin yelled out as he was pushed, and he dropped her wand as well as his rowan staff. Morgan Le Fay cackled as she ran forward and retrieved the ring of Avalon, placing it upon her finger once more.
Thou shalt die now, sorcerer!
Merlin fumbled about upon the crystal rocks, and his hands were cut and bleeding, for the shards that had broken were sharp. He raised one hand to his eyes and grabbed many of the small crystals with his other, as a blood-red light came hurtling towards him. Then it enveloped his body completely. Merlin screamed in agony, for the light tore at his flesh, and cut him where it would, and he was unable to defend himself against her wrath and also the dark forces of Pwyll.
Merlin was becoming weaker as the red light raged and tore at his flesh. Though tormented and cut, he slowly stretched out his arm to reach his rowan staff. The crimson evil power upon him became worse at each passing moment as Morgan Le Fay cast her spells and hexes, for her energy gained as quickly as he became weak.
Thou shalt not succeed, Morgan!
He screamed as Morgan cackled her hideous laugh. She held out both her hands towards him, and the malevolent power flowed through her very fingertips, torturing him further. And it was as she raised her arms that Merlin saw Excalibur strapped to her side. Merlin's face turned to sheer horror, and he knew he must retrieve the magical scabbard, for she would use this in service to her master Pwyll. He became incensed to win Excalibur back, for King Arthur may be harmed greatly without it, as death to the king would be assured. With his last remaining strength, he threw the shards of crystal that were in his free hand, and with a sorcerer's curse they flew like daggers.
I summon thee forth, shards of crystal. May the earth and rock destroy thee, Morgan Le Fay, with all her might and main. So mote it be.
Hundreds of the needle-like points flew in the air towards her, and before she could release her red evil aura, they all flew true and stabbed into her flesh. They cut her face and hands, and pierced through her clothes and into her body, landing where they would. Morgan Le Fay fell back in agony, and blood oozed from her many wounds, but the shards did not fall away from her skin, and she fell to the ground screaming and hollowing in agony as wise Merlin came to his feet.